Hello everyone, welcome to Anime Series, the home of horror, mystery, and emotional anime stories. Here, we dive into the darkest corners of your favorite anime worlds, twisted plots, haunting music, and unforgettable moments all in one place. If you love fear, feel pain, and crave suspense, you're in the right world. So sit back, wear your headphones, and let the nightmares begin. Waito and Naruto Forbidden Love Story. Genre romance/suspense/mature, 18+, no chapter breaks, voiceover ready, intense and emotional. The cottage on the outskirts of Konoha stood like a forgotten prayer, old, wooden, silent. Few knew who lived there. Most didn't ask. But inside those faded walls, where moonlight whispered through torn curtains, lived Naruto Uzumaki, and the woman who had raised him, Waito. She wasn't his grandmother. Not really. Not by blood. Not by title. Just Waito, a woman who appeared after the war, took him in when he was most broken. A woman with silver hair, quiet eyes, and a touch that made time freeze. Naruto was 17. Stronger than most boys. Quieter than most shinobi. Burdened by years of abandonment, but burning inside with something far more dangerous than anger, desire. She wore her silk robe again, the deep blue one. The one that clung to her waist like it knew every inch of her. Naruto stared from behind the hallway corner, holding his breath as she poured tea, her long legs crossing lazily. "You're awake," she said without turning. "I wasn't sleeping," Naruto muttered, stepping out. Her voice always made him clench his fists. It was soft, steady, knowing. Like she was reading his soul. "You shouldn't watch me like that," she said, sipping her cup. "I wasn't," he lied. She smiled. "You're terrible at lying." Waito stood and walked past him slowly, and in that moment, her bare shoulder brushed his chest. A spark. An accident. Maybe. Maybe not. The nights grew harder. He couldn't sleep. Not with her so close. Sometimes she'd bathe late, and he'd catch glimpses, skin through steam, shadows behind paper doors. Other times, he'd find her reading in the dark, robe undone at the chest, lips wet from wine. "Your training's slipping," she teased one morning after sparring. "I'm distracted," he said without thinking. "Oh?" Her eyebrow arched. "By what?" He didn't answer. He couldn't. Because the truth was that every inch of her, the way she moved, the way she smelled, the way she looked at him like she knew, drove him mad. And one night, madness won. It was raining. Thunder cracked the sky. Waito was reading by the fire, her robe loose, legs bare, hair wet from her bath. Naruto stood there, soaked, tense, eyes glowing. "I can't take it anymore," he said. She looked up slowly. "Take what?" "This. You. Everything." He walked to her. Closer than he ever had. "Say something," he whispered. Her breath hitched. For the first time, she looked scared. "You don't know what you're asking for." "I do." Silence. "Then, I swore I'd never, but gods, Naruto." Her lips met his. Soft at first. Then desperate. Her hands pulled him down, fingers in his wet hair, heart pounding through thin silk and skin. Clothes were forgotten. Names too. Just fire and breath and years of hunger unraveling in one long, forbidden night. They became secret lovers. By day, shinobi and caretaker. By night, sinners in silence. Every kiss was a crime. Every touch a lie, but neither could stop. Waito's hands knew every scar on his body. Her whispers kept him sane through missions. She would wait by the window for him to return, and he would ache for her voice more than glory. But secrets don't stay buried. An old ANBU scroll surfaced, one with her name. Waito had been part of the Uzumaki resistance, a clan warrior who vanished during the last Whirlpool massacre. Labeled rogue. Dangerous. Survivor of dark sealing arts. And now, she was living with Konoha's golden boy? The elders started watching. Whispers spread. The Hokage sent someone to check in. One night, masked men attacked. They weren't robbers. They were assassins. "Naruto Uzumaki," one hissed. "The boy cursed by foxes and witches." "Step away from her," another spat. "She's not what she seems." Waito didn't hesitate. She unleashed seals. Naruto had never seen black markings across her arms, glowing red with rage. The room exploded with chakra, scrolls, and blood. "You dare touch what I love," she screamed. But they were too many. She was cornered. Her chest bled. Her robe torn. Naruto stood in front of her, shirtless, trembling, eyes filled with rage and terror. If you want her, his voice turned cold, you'll die first. The nine tails stirred. Power roared. The entire forest lit up in red. They never stood a chance. After the battle, nothing was the same. Whito healed, but her heart grew quiet. They'll never accept us, she said one night, holding his hand. Not the village. Not the world. I don't care, he whispered, you will. One day, she kissed his forehead. I want to go. Somewhere far. Start over. He smiled. Then let's run. But fate had other plans. Before they could leave, Whito disappeared. Vanished without a word. No note. No goodbye. Some said she fled. Others said the elders had her executed in secret. Naruto searched for weeks. Months. Years. Nothing. Now Hokage, Naruto still dreams of her. At night, he sits in the Hokage tower, staring at a worn old scroll with her handwriting. You were never a child in my eyes, you were my fire. My ruin, not am my greatest sin, and my only heaven. W. In a drawer beside it lies a blue silk robe. Folded. Untouched. And sometimes, when the wind is soft, he swears he smells her again. Years passed, but the ghost of her never did. Naruto stood on the balcony of the Hokage tower, rain dripping from the edges of his cloak. The village celebrated another peace treaty behind him. Fireworks lit the sky. Children laughed. But none of that could reach the hole inside him. The one Whito had carved when she vanished. He still dreamed of her, the robe, the whisper, the last kiss. You were never a child in my eyes. My greatest sin, and my only heaven. Every word still burned. And then came the scroll. No name. Just a red wax seal with the Uzumaki spiral. It had been slipped into his private quarters with no trace of who delivered it. Inside, written in the same ink she used to scold him with, were 7 words: I am alive. But I am not free. Naruto's heart stopped. He read it 100 times. Memorized the curves of each letter. Then he vanished, leaving a clone in his office, no guards, no warning. Just his cloak, a small travel scroll, and rage in his veins. He followed the markings she left behind, subtling trails hidden in chakra-sensitive moss. It led him across borders, past ruined outposts, to a long-dead village buried beneath the earth. The ruins of old Uzushio. He found her beneath it, caged. She sat in a sealed chamber lined with ancient runes, bound by 5-point chakra seals around her wrists and ankles. Her robe was torn, stained by time, but her eyes, they were still Whito's. Still soft, still sharp, still waiting for him. Naruto, she whispered. He didn't speak. He ran to her, ripped the seals apart with raw Nine-Tails chakra. Blood poured from his palms, but he didn't stop. Not until she collapsed into his arms, crying for the first time in years. I tried to protect you, she said through shaking breaths. They found out, the elders. They took me. You should have told me, he said, voice cracking. You thought I'd live without you? I had to disappear. You were becoming Hokage. They told me if I stayed, they'd label you tainted. A traitor. They'd ruin your dream. I don't care about the dream, he said, holding her tighter. I care about you. She pressed her face into his chest. I never stopped waiting. Not one day. He lifted her chin and kissed her fiercely. Slowly. Like reclaiming a soul. They escaped through hidden tunnels, old Uzumaki escape routes no one had walked in decades. Every step was a return, every breath beside her made him feel alive again. They stayed in a cave that night, behind a waterfall. It was cold, but their fire was not. She sat across from him in silence, robe wrapped tight, but her eyes were full of flame. Do you still want me? She asked. He didn't answer. He walked to her. Slowly. Then dropped to his knees in front of her. Every second I breathe is because of you. She pulled him into her lap. Her fingers traced the edge of his jaw, his chest, his scars. She kissed him again, but this time not out of desperation. This time out of hunger. The cave roared with wind and water, but inside, only gasps and whispers filled the air. She shed her robe slowly, letting it fall behind her like a wave. He pressed his forehead to hers, eyes shut, skin trembling. They made love like time owed them, slow. Desperate. Endless, not just bodies, but everything they were, colliding, crashing, binding forever. That night, Naruto didn't dream of Whito. She was finally real again. By dawn, reality came knocking. An ANBU squad waited at the edge of the cliff. Lord Seventh, the leader bowed. We were instructed to bring back the fugitive. Naruto stood between them and her, hair wild, chakra flaring. She's not a fugitive. She defied council orders. Used forbidden jutsu. Abandoned the village. She was protecting me. The ANBU didn't move. Whito stepped beside him, robe tied, hair down. I'll go, she said softly. It's time I stop running. No, Naruto growled. She placed a hand on his heart. Let me fix this. Let me stand by you in truth. He looked into her eyes, then stepped aside. Whito stood trial under High Council watch. The room was full of whispers, judgment, tension. She didn't deny anything. She spoke clearly, admitting to loving him, to protecting him, to running away from a system that would never allow their truth. I did not raise a boy, she said to the council. I raised a man. And he is now Hokage. Judge me if you wish. But I regret nothing. Tsunade sat silently in the corner, arms folded. After minutes of silence, she finally spoke. She saved his life. Multiple times. That counts for something. The council was divided. Naruto made the final call. I won't let anyone punish the woman I love. There was uproar. But his voice silenced all. I am Hokage. This is my village. She stays. Whito looked at him from across the room. The quiet warrior. The boy who had become a god. Now they live quietly in a home outside the village. Not hidden, not ashamed. Just them. Sometimes, when the moon is full, Naruto watches her sleep beside him, hair scattered across the pillow, hand resting on his chest. She still wears the old blue robe sometimes. But now, only for him. The village eventually accepted it. Or at least, stopped questioning it. And as for Naruto, he stopped dreaming, because Whito is no longer a memory. She is his reality, his fire, his ruin, his only heaven. The world changed once they stopped hiding. Naruto Uzumaki, 7th Hokage, had declared it openly. She is not my guardian. She is not my secret. She is the woman I love. And Whito stood beside him, calm, quiet, but burning inside. For months, they lived in peace. She helped at the academy sometimes, training students and lost Uzumaki's sealing arts. She kissed Naruto in the garden when no one looked. She slept in his bed, wore his robe, left long scratches down his back that only he knew. But peace never lasts in a shinobi's world. It began with a mark. A single, cursed seal carved into the Hokage monument overnight, glowing blood red in the moonlight. The symbol of the Crimson Circle. An old cult. One that once hunted Uzumaki bloodlines. Assassins who worshipped ancient chakra gods. They believed the bloodline was cursed, and Whito was the last surviving priestess from the Age of War. Now that she had returned and declared her heart to the world, they considered it a final insult. A warning was sent. The flame must be extinguished. Love has made the weapon weak. Her death will purify him. Naruto's rage returned. He doubled security. Sealed the compound. But Whito, she was already preparing. I knew they'd come for me, she said, quietly packing scrolls. I won't let them touch you, Naruto promised. I'm not afraid to die, she replied. But I won't let you burn for me. He grabbed her hand. No more running. She looked at him with tired love. Then fight with me. They struck the next night. Masked, brutal, fast, blending into shadows, using ancient forbidden arts Naruto had never seen before. The barrier cracked, the ANBU guards fell. Whito stood alone in the center of the burning compound, her old ceremonial robe flowing like liquid fire. Her seals lit the air. Her eyes didn't blink. They came for her. All of them, and she welcomed them. Naruto arrived too late. Or maybe just in time. Blood covered the walls. Whito was on her knees, exhausted, injured, her robe half-burned, her body glowing with raw sealing chakra. They used the black flame seal, she gasped. I can't hold it much longer. You're not dying today, Naruto said. He knelt beside her. Pressed his forehead to hers, and without a word, he poured Kurama's chakra into her. Their auras collided. Orange and red. Light and darkness. Heat and heart. She screamed out. He held her tighter, her body arched with light old seals rewritten in his name, his chakra, his soul. The black flame seal shattered, and for the first time since the war, Whito smiled through her tears. You've become more than I ever imagined, she whispered. He touched her lips. You made me that. They buried the dead in silence. Tsunade personally ordered the Crimson Circle declared a global criminal organization. But peace didn't come right away. Some of the elders still whispered. Some shinobi still looked at her with fear. One of Naruto's own councilmen spoke it aloud. She's made you vulnerable. Naruto responded with silence, then dismissed the man permanently. That night, Whito stood in the Hokage office, barefoot, wearing only his robe. You've given up everything for me, she said. Even your reputation. I still have you, he replied. That's everything. She pressed her body against him. Then take me. Right here. Let them all hear. And he did. Slow. Bold. Deep. Right there under the Hokage crest, against the desk built by his father. Her legs wrapped around him. His hands in her hair. Her gasps against his neck. His name on her lips, over and over. He didn't just love her, he belonged to her. But the final twist hadn't come yet. One day, while sorting through Whito's old scrolls, Naruto found something sealed by her decades ago. A letter addressed to someone named Reiko. Inside, the truth unraveled. Whito had once been engaged. Before the war. Before she fled the clan, and Reiko had been a powerful sealing master. Leader of a branch clan. A man who loved her deeply and went mad when she disappeared. Naruto found sketches, and in them, Reiko looked eerily like him, the same eyes. Same wild hair. Same smile. The letter ended with a confession. Reiko, if I ever have a child, he will carry your eyes, even if he never knows you. I will protect him. I swear it. Naruto's blood turned to ice. Was it possible? Was Whito his real mother's sister, and Reiko his biological father? No. It couldn't be. He confronted her that night quietly, respectfully, and she told him the truth. I don't know who your real father was, she said softly. But yes. I once loved Reiko. Long before your mother married Minato. Long before anything. Did you ever wonder? He asked. Every day, she whispered. And every day, I loved you anyway. Naruto stood still for a long time. Then he kissed her. Not like a son, not like a boy, like a man choosing the only person who ever truly stayed. Now, years later, they live away from Konoha by choice. Naruto passed the title of Hokage onto Konohamaru. He built a new home in the land of whirlpools, peaceful, silent, full of seals and wild garden paths where no one judges them. They walk hand in hand every morning, they share a bed that's never cold, they laugh more than they ever did, and when the fire crackles at night, she still whispers, "You were my ruin. My salvation. My only heaven." And Naruto replies every time, "You were never a sin, you were the reason I survived."